Hi everyone, today I've decided to do my TBR veteran video. So I've got 15 books here with me. Those have been on my TBR for probably about 2 years at least, maybe 3. Not all of them even fitted in the thumbnail. So because of how many there are, of course I'm not going to go into much detail about every single one of them. There's definitely a theme with 5 of them. They are Fairyloot books that I haven't had the chance to get to yet. I'm going to mention them at the very end, I think, but all of the other ones are the ones that I do really want to read, but for some strange reason just haven't got to them yet. So one of these books is Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield. She is the author of The 13th Tale, which I absolutely loved. I read the second book by her, Bellman and Black I think it was called. Wasn't such a big fan of that one, but this one I am really looking forward to reading this one. I have had it for probably about 3 years now. I have no idea why I haven't read it yet. I have absolutely no idea. It might be because I have high expectations of this one and I'm kind of scared to go into it thinking that I might be disappointed, but hopefully not. So this one is a historical fiction in which it starts with one stormy night, I think, or rainy night or something, in a village. Somebody knocks on the door, brings a child that is supposedly dead, but then that child comes back to life. Sounds intriguing, sounds really good. This book was published in 2018 and I've had the hardcover ever since. So it's been 3 years, over 3 years since I've had it, and I still haven't read it yet. Like I said, I really don't know why, because it really does sound interesting to me. I'm hoping I can get to it maybe this October or November, because it seems like a perfect time to be reading this kind of book, but we'll see how things go. Next one, probably been there for a while as well. Similar time as Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. I really enjoyed Strange the Dreamer when I read it, and then I bought the sequel sometime after that. And again, never read it. I have heard that it's more romance heavy than the first one. That might have been what put me off, but I still want to carry on and read it. But now I think it's been such a long time that now I need to reread Strange the Dreamer in order to carry on with this one. And I also feel like I have no time for rereads lately because I've got so many other unread books on my TBR pile that I just can't reread anything. But I think for me to read this one I will have to reread the first one, which will be fine. I just need to take my time and do it actually, so hopefully this one will be done. Next one is The Wonder by Emma Donahue. I read The Room by the author and really enjoyed the book. This one is completely different. This one is historical fiction. This one is about a girl who is supposedly not eating anything but somehow still manages to stay alive, so there's a mystery surrounded by that. It does sound really good and I'm again really excited for it. I have no idea why I haven't read it yet, and I really also like the cover of this one. It's so pretty. And like I said, I read one book by the author and really enjoyed it, and there are a couple already that I'm interested in reading by the author, but I feel like considering I've not read this one I can't quite get those yet because that wouldn't make sense. So hopefully one day, sooner rather than later, I'll get to this one. Then another shameful one is The Glass Woman by Leah. I got that one for Christmas probably about 3 years ago because I wanted the book. But I haven't read it yet. I've no idea why. Maybe because again I have too high expectations of this one. So I think it's like similar to Jane Eyre and Rebecca. There are similar vibes in it, so that we follow a girl who just newly married and she moves into a new house with him, and there are rumors about his ex-wife again or something like that, so it sounds really similar. I know it's set in Iceland, 1686, and I'm really excited for it. And again, the cover is really, really pretty. But even blurbed by Laura Purcell crackles with tension, and I like Laura Purcell, so I do think I'm just gonna really enjoy this book, but I've just not picked it up for some strangest reason. Again, I'm hoping that I can pick it up maybe in November or October. That'll be perfect, but I feel like I need to get on with this one because it's been a very long time and I do not know why I've not read it, because it does sound really good and really interesting, because I enjoy both Jane Eyre and Rebecca. So I don't know what I'm doing by not reading this book. Next one is a non-fiction book, and that is The Untold Lives of the Women Killed by Jack the Ripper by Rubenholt. Again, I've had this book since probably 2019 when it was published, and again haven't read it yet. I'm interested in it, definitely very interested in it, but I think I'm not great with non-fiction, so it always takes me a long time to read it, to go into it and stuff like that. So I think that's what I've been putting off this book, but I'm really interested in this one, and definitely one day I will read it, as it is a history on lives of women who were killed by Jack the Ripper. It's not about his crimes, it's about the women who were killed, which sounds a bit different. Not that I know a lot about the story, but I would like to learn more about their lives, and I've just always been fascinated with that period of history in general, so it'd be nice to see kind of day-to-day life of these women. I just need to actually do it. Next one is Written in the Stars by Ali Harris. This one is difficult to explain. So I think in this one we follow two different scenarios. So there's a woman who is on a verge, like on the brink of either getting married or not getting married. And so I think we kind of follow both stories, which I hope makes sense. So whether she'd say yes to the guy, whether she'd say no, what would happen. So it sounds really intriguing to me. I'd love to know what happens and how the author is going to play around with it, because it sounds like an interesting concept to me, to see both versions of what would happen. So it does sound really good, and I've no idea again why I've not read it yet. I'm not a massive fan of romance, maybe that's why it's been putting me off. But then I bought it because I was interested in it, so surely it would make sense for me to just go and read it. But no, for some reason it's still on my shelf, probably about 2 or 3 years later. I will read it one day. I just don't quite know when. Next one is The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco. Sorry if I butchered the name. But this one is a historical fiction. This is going to be one occasion when I'm going to read you the blurb. The year is 1327. Brother William of Baskerville arrives at a wealthy Italian abbey on theological business. When his delicate mission is overshadowed by 7 bizarre deaths, Brother William turns detective. He collects evidence, deciphers secret symbols and coded manuscripts, and digs into the eerie labyrinth of the abbey, where extraordinary things are happening under the cover of night. It sounds amazing to me, and I've no idea why I have not read it yet. Maybe it's the size actually, because it's over 500 pages. It could be the size. It could also be because it's set so far back that I've not read many books set in that time period, if any. So it might be just the fact that it's kind of new, and I'm thinking it could be quite difficult to read, but hopefully not. But I'm really interested in it because it does sound really intriguing to me. Next one is another massive one, and that's The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton. I've heard amazing things about this one. I bought it one day on a whim just because I fancied doing that. Again, I think the size is the pure thing what's putting me off, not anything else, because it's a massive book. It's yeah, just about 800 pages or more. I lied to you, this is going to be another case of me reading you the blurb. It is 1866 and Walter Moody has come to make his fortune upon the New Zealand goldfields. On the night of his arrival, he stumbles across a tense gathering of 12 local men who have met in secret to discuss a series of unsolved crimes. A wealthy man has vanished, a whore has tried to end her life, and an enormous fortune has been discovered in the home of a luckless drunk. Moody is soon drawn into the mystery, a network of fates and fortunes that is as complex and exquisitely patterned as the night sky. It sounds amazing to me, and I feel like for the book this size there could be so many different details that could all lead together to one big revelation, or a few big revelations, or just in general to know the characters, the story, all of the mysteries and stuff like that. So it sounds really good, but I do think the size is what's putting me off. But one day I will read it. I might just need to take my time with it and maybe not read it in one go. But we'll see how it goes, because I would love to read this one. Next one is The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris. As you can see, there's a World War II historical fiction, which I normally enjoy, but I have no idea why I haven't read it yet. Again, no idea. It's not even a big book at all. It's just never happened. I really don't know why. Maybe I need to be in the mood for reading a book like this. From what I know, it's obviously about the tattooist of Auschwitz who potentially falls in love. I love stories set in the period of World War II, so I'm just shocked that I haven't read it yet. Again, had it for probably about 2 or 3 years. I just need to get on with it and read it. On a similar vibe, we've got a Tavia's Story by Clara Franklin. This one was one of the 2 books that I was sent by the publishers, which is Austin Macaulay's publishers. Again, 2 or 3 years ago now. I can't even remember. I read one of them luckily now, but this is the second one that I have not read yet. And again, I've no idea what's putting me off. I think it's just going to be kind of like a heartbreaking experience, and I need to be mentally ready to read that kind of thing. But on this one, we follow our main character who goes on the train to one of the concentration camps, I think. She gives birth to a baby, and it's about their survival, essentially. So it sounds like I could enjoy this one, but I've not read it. I've no idea why. Also, it's quite like sturdy, so I feel like it could be kind of uncomfortable reading it, but we'll see. So the last 4, like I mentioned, are from Fairyloot. I used to be subscribed to Fairyloot and used to enjoy it, but then I realized quite a few books that I read by them I didn't particularly enjoy all that much, so it kind of, my interest for them lessened. But now I've got only, I think, 4 books left, so that's good, right? But I have unsubscribed from them probably about 2 years ago, so they've been there for a while. So one of them is Wicked Fox by Catton. I started reading 1 chapter a very long time ago, but I think it was just to try a chapter whether I liked it or not when I was thinking of which book to DNF, and I thought it was an alright chapter, so I didn't DNF it. This book I think is based on Korean mythology. We've got this girl who, I could be wrong on this one, who could transform into a fox with 7 tails or something like that. And she can either lose this ability or lose her soul if she falls in love with somebody. I could be completely wrong, I can't quite remember what it's about. So I'm not exactly excited to read this book, but considering it's still on my TBR, I need to one day just go and read it, reread that first chapter, and just carry on with the book. Because I would like to give it a go. I've not heard great and amazing things about this one, but we'll see what I think of it whenever I eventually get to it. Then we also have the Stormcrow by Kailyn Josephson. As you can see, it's a paperback, and that was like a proof copy, and it was supposed to be on sale in July 2019, so I've had it since the beginning of 2019, which was a long time ago now. But this one, again, it does sound really interesting. So I think this one is essentially almost like your typical YA fantasy book in which there's elemental magic, somehow to do with crows, and I have a feeling there was this ruler or somebody who destroyed this magic, and now elemental crows don't exist, but apparently somebody found one and it could be kind of reborn or something. Again, I could be completely wrong on this one. This one does sound interesting to me. I just don't know why I haven't read it yet, because I feel like I haven't had much luck with YA fantasy, but recently I'm getting almost like back into it, so I would love to read this one day and hopefully enjoy it. There have been quite a few Fairyloot books that surprised me in the past, like Viper is one of them. I really enjoyed this one, so I'm hoping it's going to be the case with this one too. Then we also have Nocturna by Moltain. Again, just a pretty book cover. It sounds complicated from what I've read in the blurb. I can't exactly describe this one, so I'm going to read you the blurb again. To Finian Voy, magic is 2 things: a knife to hold under the throat of anyone who crosses her, and a disguise she shrugs on as easily as others put on cloaks. As a talented face shifter, it's been years since Finn has seen her own face, and that's exactly how she likes it. But when she gets caught by a powerful mobster, she's forced into an impossible mission: steal a legendary treasure from Castellan's royal palace, or be stripped of her magic forever. To Prince Alpher, magic is an escape, but one that comes with a price. First in line for the throne after the disappearance of his older brother, Alfie is desperate to find him and bring him home, even if it means dabbling in forbidden magic. And when Finn and Alfie's fates collide, they realize magic can be other things too, and the type they accidentally release into the world is something neither of them expects or understands. It's hungry. Wow, it actually sounds really intriguing. So again, no idea why I haven't read it yet. Maybe it was just not calling to me, but I need to read it because it's still on my TBR, and I would like to read it after reading this blurb because it does sound really good. So I'm hoping I'm going to enjoy this one. And the very last one is The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen. I must admit, I'm not the biggest fan of this cover. Do you know what? Again, I read the blurb but there's no chance I'm going to try and explain it myself, so I'm going to read you the blurb. Sorry. Future chieftain, a fugitive prince, a too cunning bodyguard, and one grumpy grey tabby. I must admit I'm rather curious about the cat. Fi abides by one rule: look after your own. As the future chieftain of a shunned castle of mercy killers, she relies on her wits and bone magic, drawn from the teeth of dead witches, to protect her band. Sounds good. The crows take more abuse than coin, so when they're called to collect the royal dead, Fi hopes they'll find the payout of a lifetime. When Fi discovers that Crown Prince Jasimir and his crafty bodyguard Tavin have faked their deaths to escape the ruthless Queen Rusana, she's ready to cut her losses and perhaps their throats. But Jas offers a deal that she can't refuse: make sure he lives to see the throne and he'll protect the crows when he reigns. To outrun and outwit the Queen, the trio forge an uneasy alliance that is soon tested by old secrets, shifting allegiances and forbidden feelings. And Rusana and her band of deadly trackers loom ever closer. The three fugitives must discover what they're each willing to sacrifice to save their own. Well, again, that sounds actually really intriguing to me. I would like to get to this one at some point, but it's been a very long time. I think probably again 2019, and it's also even signed. That's what I also feel kind of guilty about. Yeah, so this book was published in 2019, so it's been a long time, so I need to get to it, as to the rest of them as well. So yeah, now also the sign decided to show up, so if my lighting changed and got horrible or better, I apologize. I can't control the sun, unfortunately. So yeah, these are, I think, all of my TBR veterans. I don't think I've mentioned any other ones. I don't think I've missed any other ones. There might be some that are getting closer to being TBR veterans, but we're not going to worry about that yet. So hopefully next time if I film a video like this, it will be of me saying that I've read all of those TBR veterans, because I do think I need to work on it now that I've made a video, that now it's out there in the open, that people know what my TBR veterans are, and I am more aware how long they've been on there. Plus it kind of rereading the blurbs kind of made me more excited about those books, so I do need to make more of an effort to read those older books, and hopefully next time I can tell you that I've read those and what I've thought of them as well. It could be like a follow-up video maybe to whenever I've read some of them or most of them, and then hopefully do another one later on at some point, probably next year, with different TBR veterans, because probably by that time there will be more that would have been on my TBR for a long time. Anyway, all of that ramble out of the way, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!